secede and become their own state. Could you imagine the precedent to the secedent that would that would cause, the precedent to the secessions? I think that would cause Red Cali secession. Exactly. He's not thinking. I mean, this guy isn't thinking it all the way. He's not thinking it all the way through. But of course, that's right. If Memphis can secede, oh my, then the redistricting wars will then be replaced by the true wars, which are the secession wars. And again, I think we would win because the Democrats are so regionally concentrated. They're regionally concentrated around urban centers, the LAs, the San Franciscos, the Portlands, the Washingtons, the Denvers, the Chicagos, the Bostons, the New Yorks, the Phillies. That's where they're concentrated. So if you want to break this up into regional secessions, be my guest. We'll have 22 blue states to 500 red states. I mean, sure, go right ahead. Virginia Democrat gerrymander ruled unconstitutional. Oh, you're all coming on in. Sven, thank you, sir. Yeah, Sven Olsen. Yes. Excellent. Yeah. Very, very huge. That was a gigantic. It looked like, I mean, what's his name? Cuccinelli. He was the former attorney general under what's his name? Why am I forgetting? The former governor of Virginia, Youngkin. Cuccinelli was already arguing, these last 2 weeks, this thing's going down. There is no way this, I mean, it was so blatantly unconstitutional, according to their own constitution. Remember, in order to amend the Virginia Constitution, which that referendum did, because they have in their constitution, this very same population that voted overwhelmingly to have a nonpartisan redistricting commission oversee how districts were drawn. If you're going to change that, you needed to have a legislative session vote on that. Then you had to have an intermediating statewide election as a form of kind of balance of power. And then the new legislature had to vote on that referendum or that constitution changing bill again. And they didn't do that. They didn't even remotely do that. So it was just and then the wording has to be objective. It has to be nonpartisan. They used the word fair in it. It was a radically Democrat-oriented redistricting that they claimed was objective and fair. I mean, it was just so blatantly fraud. But again, this is what they do when you're in their death throes. You engage in silly antics like this. Stephanie, Arizona was also heavily gerrymandered. We had a lot of voter and immigration fraud. Now Arizona is working on redistricting too. It may not happen for midterms, but perhaps 2028. Absolutely. It doesn't have to happen for midterms, but it's going to happen. And you can only imagine if this map is a solid at least 220, 222 for Republicans. You can only imagine what it's going to be in 2018. All right. Yeah. 2028. Robo Guy, thoughts on people from red states telling people coming from blue states to stay in the rot they made. I've seen many videos of it in Florida, Texas, etc., saying they're full and don't want any more people coming. Well, certainly, I mean, you have a right to say that. It's your territory, no question. All I can say, though, is it was ambiguous originally around 2018, where we started to see red states growing and growing and growing. And it did look ambiguous. It did look like all these people were moving from California and from New York and Jersey and Massachusetts, and they were bringing their blue state politics with them. So Arizona went blue, voted for Biden, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Georgia's been going blue, and people were worried Texas would eventually go blue. But we started to see, particularly around the 2018 election, when Ted Cruz was running for re-election against O'Rourke, and we started to see the data that came in. And ironically, if only native Texans voted in that election, O'Rourke would have won by about 1 or 2 points. It was precisely because of the left UGs, particularly from California, they voted for Ted Cruz overwhelmingly. And then since then, we have seen virtually all the red states now getting redder, deep, deep red. It's happened with Texas. It's happened with Florida. It's happened with Tennessee, and certainly happened with Arizona now with about a 7.8 point Republican voter registration advantage. And what is basically happening is that people are moving and leaving blue states intentionally. They do not want to be in this kind of politics anymore. And so when they do go to the red states, ironically, they're the most hardcore. They're the ones who are defending this new red state that they're in from any semblance of left-wing nonsense. It also explains why Indiana Senate Republicans did what they did in voting against redistricting, because they're not getting transplants in Indiana. The transplants, the lefties, the hardcore zealot right-wingers who are going to be the Gandalfs fighting the good fight to make sure that the left-wing nonsense they left never comes into the red states that they've come to. They're not moving to Indiana. Indiana's just this quiet, placid red state. And it doesn't know how to fight. It doesn't have this hardcore left UG demographic that's come in that's going to demand that they destroy any semblance of left-wing lunacy that they left. So it's one of the reasons why Texas, Tennessee, Florida, North Carolina, it's one of the reasons why they've been so quick to redistrict. Missouri and Ohio. Ohio had to. They were legally required to, but Missouri was actually the first one. I think they were even before Texas. But anyway, so